In the news tonight, the world's most important event that focuses exclusively on Special Operations Forces and Homeland Security, SOFEX, in its 11th edition, kicks off on Tuesday under royal patronage with the participation of delegates from 54 countries and more than 380 exhibitors. Efforts by Britain's ruling Conservative Party to link the new mayor of London to extremism during campaigning for the capital's election fail as London elects as Mayor Sadiq Khan, a Pakistani Muslim. And a raging Canadian wildfire that forced the evacuation of the Alberta oil town of Fort McMurray was growing further, helped by hot, dry weather. Good evening and welcome to a new edition of the news. Here are the details. Preparations are underway for the opening of the Special Operations Forces exhibition SOFEX 2016 on Tuesday, which will be held under the patronage of His Majesty King Abdullah. This is the 11th edition of SOFEX, this year held under the theme Networking for Global Security. Nearly 105 delegates from 54 countries, including ministers, chiefs of staff and commanders, will participate in the event. Managing Director of the exhibition, Amir Tabbah, said SOFEX remains the region's only event exclusively focused on special forces and homeland security missions. Exhibitors from 37 countries will be showcasing latest systems and technologies for special forces, homeland security and peacekeeping missions. The number of exhibitors exceeds 380. Minister of Foreign and Expatriates Affairs Nasser Joude discussed with Chief Palestinian negotiator Saeb Ariqat in Amman the latest developments regarding efforts exerted to breathe life into the peace process. Joude renewed Jordan's fixed position that the Palestinian issue remains the core of the conflict, which can be resolved through serious and effective talks that bring about a two-state solution. The minister emphasized that an independent and sovereign Palestinian state must be established on pre-1967 borders on national Palestinian soil with East Jerusalem as its capital. 13 Iranian soldiers were killed in a battle with militants over a village near the Syrian city of Aleppo in one of Iran's biggest single-day losses. Extremists seized a Khan Touman village about 15 kilometers southwest of Aleppo yesterday, and dozens of people were reported to have been killed in the fighting. The attack was launched by an alliance of insurgents known as Jaish al-Fatah, including the Al-Qaeda-linked Nusra Front. A senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader reiterated his country will use all its means to fight against terrorists who are committing crimes in the region. And in the continued fight against Daesh terrorists, the United States and its allies targeted the group with a total of 17 strikes in Iraq and Syria since yesterday. The U.S. military, in a statement today, said that 3 of the 11 strikes in Iraq were near Mosul, hitting a Daesh tactical unit and communications facility, while in Syria 3 of the 6 strikes were conducted near Ma'arra, that hit a Daesh command and control center. Meanwhile, Turkey's state-run Anadolu agency said the U.S.-led coalition airstrikes in Syria killed 48 Daesh terrorists. Quoting the Turkish military, the agency said F-16 and A-10 warplanes killed 44 members of the group and injured others in Harjala, Dalha, Barakiath and Hawar Kilis. The airstrikes were in response to increasingly frequent Daesh attacks against opposition forces in northern Syria. Only 2 months after the historic Syrian city of Palmyra was taken back from Daesh terrorists, the city's amphitheater hosted a musical concert dubbed Gate of the Sun. The Syrian National Symphony, the National Ensemble for Arabic Music, Mary Orchestra and Al-Farah Choir came together to revive the amphitheater with nationalist musical pieces. The musical, held to honor victims of Syria's conflict, attracted thousands of people, including senior politicians.
It's really sad to see the destruction that has befallen Palmyra, but we have got big hope that all of the areas in Syria will be liberated from the terrorists. I am from the Farah Choir, and we came here to prove to the world that with joy we can rebuild our country like before and even better.
Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz restructured some government ministries and reshuffled his cabinet to appoint new ministers in a series of royal decrees. The most eye-catching change was the creation of a new energy, industry and natural resources ministry under Khalid al-Falih, who was moved from the post of health minister to replace Ali Naimi, who has run the energy policy of the kingdom since 1995. The central bank governor was also replaced, and new ministers to run the water, transport, commerce, health and pilgrimage portfolios were named. The royal decrees also merged the Ministries of Labour and Social Affairs into a new department and created a new commission for recreation and culture. The major reshuffle comes a week after the Saudi king announced big economic reforms. British Labour lawmaker Sadiq Khan was elected mayor of London, beating the ruling Conservatives candidate Zach Goldsmith to the coveted position. 45-year-old Khan is the first Muslim to head a major Western capital. A lawyer by background, Khan was treated to rough tactics during the campaign when his Conservative opponents highlighted legal work he had done for alleged extremists and his appearances with them on political platforms. But the tactics did not sway Londoners as he won by a landslide. Here's the story.
London has elected its first Muslim mayor. When the results of the voting were revealed at City Hall, Sadiq Khan had won in a landslide.
Sadiq Aman Khan, Labour Party, 1,148,716. I therefore declare Sadiq Khan to be elected as the new Mayor of London.
In his victory speech, Khan paid tribute to his roots as the son of an immigrant bus driver from Pakistan.
I want every single Londoner to get the opportunities that our city gave to me and my family. The opportunities not just to survive, but to thrive. The opportunities to build a better future for you and your family.
After a bitter campaign that was marred by accusations Khan had links to extremists, he won by more than 13%. Khan replaces Conservative Party Mayor Boris Johnson, who has run the city of 8.6 million people for the last 8 years.
The raging Canadian wildfire that forced the evacuation of the Alberta oil town of Fort McMurray intensified today, helped by hot, dry weather, with officials working to get another convoy of evacuees out of the region. The blaze, the largest of some 40 wildfires burning across the province of Alberta, has forced the entire population of 88,000 residents to flee for safety. Temperatures today expected to rise as high as 28 degrees Celsius was hindering efforts to fight the wildfire. Earlier in the week, most evacuees headed south in a slow-moving exodus that left many temporarily stranded on the roadside as they ran out of gasoline. Over the past 24 hours, more than 2,000 vehicles of evacuees managed to travel south, and police are now preparing to escort another convoy of vehicles through the fire-ravaged city. Nearly 700 migrants rescued in several operations in the Mediterranean were taken to port in Sicily's Augusta. The migrants were amongst a total of 1,759 rescued on Thursday during 10 operations carried out jointly by the Italian Navy, Coast Guard and Finance Police, the European Union's External Borders Agency Frontex and the medical charity Médecins Sans Frontières. The Navy said 698 migrants disembarked from the Navy vessel Agricale without giving details about their nationalities. The latest arrivals picked up in the Strait of Sicily will bring the total of migrants reaching Italy by boat so far this year to more than 30,000, slightly higher than in the same period in 2015. Officials fear the numbers trying to make the crossings to southern Italy will increase as sailing conditions improve in warmer weather.
Italian Navy vessels carried out 10 rescue operations in total. At the end of the operations, in which we rescued around 1,700 migrants, including some 100 women and 100 children, They were divided among the rescue vessels, and one headed towards the port of Augusta, where the rescued people are now getting ashore.
Thousands of pigeons with tiny lights strapped to their legs swooped through the darkening skies of New York in a jaw-dropping display of beauty. As evening fell over the Brooklyn Navy Yard, once home to the nation's largest naval fleet of carrier pigeons, artist Duke Riley opened an enormous coop and released the homing pigeons of his fly-by-night project. At the call of his whistle, the massive flock took off and circled for 30 minutes over in the sky. Riley's flock includes a variety of specially trained pigeons, some his own, while others purchased or borrowed from pigeon fanciers. Fly by Night comes 3 years after Riley's performance piece, Trading with the Enemy, in which trained pigeons carried cigars from Havana to Key West, Florida, to protest the U.S. embargo of Cuba and challenge American spying capabilities since the birds evade surveillance equipment. The show will be repeated each weekend evening starting today through June 12. Bayern Munich secured a record fourth consecutive Bundesliga title with a game to spare after a 2-1 victory at Ingolstadt eased the disappointment of their midweek Champions League exit. The Bavarians clinched a 26th German league crown and the first silverware of the season. Bayern can secure the double when they meet Dortmund in the German Cup final on the 21st in Berlin. World number 2 Andy Murray reached the final of the Madrid Open for the second year running by beating Rafael Nadal in straight sets on clay. In cool, damp conditions, Murray broke Nadal in his second service game, but lost his serve at 5-3 before breaking his opponent again to clinch the first set. The Scot broke again in Nadal's third service game in the second to lead 4-2, but Murray again dropped his serve at 5-3 when serving for the match. With a 7-5, 6-4 victory, Murray will face either Novak Djokovic or Kai Nishikori in tomorrow's final. Sixteen world top contestants from 10 countries competed in the third international highline tightrope walking tournament in Yanzhou County of East China's Jiang province. The contestants competed on speed while walking on a 25mm wide tightrope hanging at 400 meters high altitude. Compared with a steel wire walking, the tightrope walking is much difficult since it is elastic and hard to walk steadily on it. In addition, steel wire walkers can hold a balancing pole to keep the balance, whereas tightrope walkers have nothing to hold. French contestant Nathan Paulin won the championship. And finally, a quick look at the weather. It will remain chilly in most regions for the rest of tonight, with low clouds and northwesterly moderate winds. As for tomorrow, a slight rise in temperature is expected, creating fair conditions in hilly areas and moderate in other regions, while winds will be northwesterly moderate to brisk, picking up at times. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect relatively hot conditions with northerly moderate winds and calm seas. Here now is a look at temperatures forecast for tonight and tomorrow. And to close, here's a reminder of the day's top stories. The world's most important event that focuses exclusively on Special Operations Forces and Homeland Security, SOFEX, in its 11th edition kicks off on Tuesday under royal patronage with the participation of delegates from 54 countries and more than 380 exhibitors. Efforts by Britain's ruling Conservative Party to link the new mayor of London to extremism during campaigning for the capital's election fail as London elects Mayor Sadiq Khan as Pakistani Muslim, and a raging Canadian wildfire that forced evacuation of the Alberta oil town of Fort McMurray was growing, helped by hot, dry weather. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Alit Khan. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.